This year, the British Podcast Awards are heading to a brand new home, Indigo at the O2. Join more podcasters, creators and producers than ever before at the biggest night in British podcasting, taking place on Thursday, the 2nd of October, 2025. You can book your tickets via our website, britishpodcastawards.com. We look forward to seeing you there.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411 Part 2 of Lucky Spencer. We are going to finish out 1994 and get through all of 1995 today. So when we left off in 1994, we found out that Lucky was going to be a big brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so May 24th through 31st, Sly and Lucky found a gun in the attic, and Luke and Laura hear a shot go off. They also find a bloodstained nightgown in the attic. Luke drops by with questions about the loaded gun that Sly and Lucky found in the ward's attic. Oh, it was in the ward's attic. Oh, because they were staying in the ward's house? Sorry.
Yeah.
And learns that Bradley did occasionally arm himself following threats of violence. Luke finds a body buried in his backyard. Luke assures Laura that it is a human. He assures her that it's a human body and not an animal. An assurance would be it's an animal, not a human.
Right.
And that he has to call Sean. Maybe that was supposed to say inshores, not ashores.
Maybe.
Okay, let's go with that. But they agree not to mention the gun until they get more facts. Then Sean tells Tiffany about Bradley Ward's murder. June 1st through the 7th, Sean tells Luke and Laura that the body buried in their backyard is that of Bradley Ward. Laura tells Lucky about Bradley, and Lucky brought Mary May flowers.
Mm.
So cute. I just want to do an entire 411 all about this alone. June 30th, Sly and Lucky want to start their own worm farm, and they sell one to Lila. We talked about it with Lila, and I think it's come up maybe once or twice in other things. This whole worm farm thing, it just confuses me, fascinates me, all of it. I love that it's like how Madeline does her bracelets and everything. You know, it's these little kids are looking for ways to make some money.
Yep.
On July 27th, they deliver Lila's worm farm, so it takes almost a month for
you they got to find the right one.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they did COD. That's cash on delivery for those of you who did not have infomercials. Then Foster and Annabelle made eyes at each other. Woo! And those are the dogs, guys. Those are the dogs. We did an entire thing about the pets.
Yes.
So we actually did a specific one just about Foster, right? Or just about Annabelle, or Foster and Annabelle?
Foster and Annabelle?
Okay, I think so. August 4th through 5th, Luke, Bobby, Lucas, and Lucky go exploring in the catacombs. Bobby learns how easy it is to get lost down there. After a day of exploring, Lucky, Luke, Bobby, and Lucas sit around chatting. Tony overhears them talking about the catacombs and gets upset that Bobby took Lucas down there. At the Spencer house, Laura tripped and fell down the stairs. Foster alerts Luke and Lucky to a hurt Laura. And then
I hope the baby's okay.
Oh no, what shall happen? Dun dun dun. August 8th through 12th, Luke and Lucky are watching baby Spencer. Oh. Tony comes in and Luke tells him that they kicked him out of Laura's room, but that Bobby is with her. Simone comes out and tells them that the baby will be fine. Luke and Lucky hold the baby for the first time.
Aww.
Lucky talks to his little sister and tells her that they need to think good thoughts about their mother because she's in trouble. He tries to explain the way things are in life while Luke listens at the door. Like, hey, sis, this is crazy. Welcome. August 29th through September 2nd, Luke, Sly, and Lucky hit the park. Lucky notices that Luke is wearing a wire. Then Sly and Lucky sell a worm farm to Felicia. And then Maxie meets the boys in Foster, and Maxie takes a liking to Lucky. Oh, foreshadowing. At this time, it would have been little Maxie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she was still not close in age with all that. So
Nope.
then Luke gives Sly and Lucky some advice on handling bullies at school. Then the PCPD arrive at the Spencers to confiscate Foster. Lucky fears the dog will be destroyed and takes off with Foster out the back door. Luke learns from Sly that Lucky and Foster had to split. They decide he must have gone to hide in the catacombs. Luke and Sunny go to look for Lucky. Lucky finds the hurt Damian in the catacombs. Lucky heads out to call the police. Luke and Sunny find Lucky. Lucky is worried that the police will take Foster, but Sunny offers to take him home with him. And then September 9th through 15th, Sunny returns to his apartment and finds the door open. It is just stone, but Foster is gone. Foster goes to the Q's to visit Annabelle. Edward calls the police, and Sunny leaves Luke a message about Foster. Foster is, quote, arrested. and Luke and Lucky learn that Foster has been arrested. Lucky goes to claim the dog. Luke and Sunny disguise themselves as animal control officers. Deputy Officer Johnson? I don't know. We'll just leave that as officers. The Spencers and Sean come to an understanding about Foster. All Foster has to do is play dead. That's some understanding there. And something else that they just go into a little bit during this. Oh, we used Carly Q Girl. And they just talk a little bit about how Damian goes and thanks Lucky or whatever. And everyone's like, you should really go thank this kid for saving you.
Right. And then October 28th through November 3rd, Lucky and Sly make Maxie an honorary power stranger. Is that supposed to be
could not find any information on it.
It has to be a knockoff Power Ranger.
That's what I was thinking, because in 1995 we would have had that, right?
Yeah.
Can you hear my neighbor revving his motorcycle?
No.
Okay.
November 4th through the 10th, Reginald informs Lila of a problem with the worm farm. Lucky must be called immediately. Lucky and Foster arrive at the Q mansion to deal with his worms. Lucky instructs Foster to stay away from Annabelle, so of course he goes straight to her. Ned arrives to handle things at the gatehouse, and Foster and Annabelle run off together. After chewing Ned out, Lois goes after them. Lois and Ned tell Lila and Lucky that Annabelle and Foster ran off together. They form a search party. I've never heard of a search party for dogs. Lucy and Kevin agree to not discuss...
you just went and had it for Oliver. I mean, people were looking all over the place for Oliver.
I don't know that I'd call it a search party. I
That's
feel
true.
like you use dogs in a search party for people. I've never had a search party for a dog.
Gotcha.
But Lucy and Kevin agree to not discuss Grace for one night and concentrate on them. All systems seem go, but then Lucy's worm farm explodes. Oh my. Why did she buy a worm farm? I just don't see that.
I know. This is what I'm saying. I need more information about this altogether.
Yes, that was sweet. Lucy is totally grossed out and calls Lucky. And then December 9th, Laura has to tell Lucky about Luke being missing. Lucky, too, refuses to believe that Luke is dead. Lucky and Sly have a heart-to-heart about their dads. December 16th, Lucky sees Luke is alive and well. Lucky wants to get a tree for Christmas. Luke and Laura do some last-minute planning for Laura's birthday. January 13th through 19th, Luke and Lucky show Laura the finished Luke's Club. They toast with Sunny to their partnership. An explosion outside rocks Luke's place. When the fire gets out of control, the Spencers and Sunny head outside. Lucky goes back inside of the fire to get the missing Foster. Sunny and Luke go back in the club after Lucky. Luke drags Lucky out screaming for Foster. Sunny carries out Foster in a blanket and he is fine. Laura is angry with Sunny as she believes he brought this down on them. Laura tells Luke that she is afraid that their old life of looking over their shoulder is starting again. She is concerned about this partnership with Sunny. Luke assures her he can find a way, but it will take time. Laura has to go back to Beecher's Corner. Lucky insists he is not going. The Spencers agree to let Lucky stay in Port Charles with Ruby. Luke and Laura say goodbye. And then January 20th through 25th, Luke tells Lucky that Annabelle is pregnant. And then January 27th through February 2nd, Lucky talks with Lila about Annabelle and the puppies. He wants some of the puppies for his family and friends. March 10th through the 16th, Lucky calls Laura. He tells her about the trouble with the dogs. Edward wants AJ and Jason out looking for the dogs. March 17th through the 23rd, the Qs are worried as Edward is missing. They fear he went after Annabelle. Edward's leg is broken after a fall in the catacombs. The dogs take care of him. Foster finds Lucky at Luke's club to get help for Edward. Lucky and Luke find Edward. Lucky keeps Edward awake while Luke gets help. Luke and Lucky return to the Q mansion with Annabelle and the puppy. Lucky talks to Edward about who gets custody of the puppy. Edward is not so willing to give up the puppy. Why does he want a puppy? He barely liked Annabelle.
He wants the money.
But those puppies ain't worth anything. Foster's a mutt.
I don't know.
March 24th through 30th, Emily meets Lucky when he comes to talk to Edward about the puppy again. Edward wants Lucky to neuter Foster or no puppy. Lucky calls Laura and tells her about Edward's blackmail attempt. Lucky and Luke surprise Laura in Beecher's Corner for an overnight visit. They fill Laura in on what's going on in Port Charles. Lucky introduces Sly to Emily. The boys invite her to lunch at Kelly's. Lucky and Edward go another round on who should get the puppy, and Emily meets Foster. April 20th through 26th, Laura calls Lucky asking if everything is okay with Luke. While Edward is out for the evening, Lila and Emily plot to have Lucky and Foster visit with the puppy. Lois asks Mary May to sing at her and Ned's wedding. Emily and Lucky name the puppy Raoul. May 11th through the 24th, Lucky finds Laura at the house. Luke informs Sunny that Laura is back to stay. After realizing that Luke will never have things under control, Laura wants him to leave their home. Laura tells Lucky that Luke is leaving. Robin finds Stone in bad shape at the motel. Luke tells Lucky he is leaving to give Laura some room. Laura allows Luke to spend the night on the couch at the house for the night. Luke tries to assure Lucky that a separation is only temporary. Lucky questions Luke if he and Laura are really trying to work things out. Luke assures him that things will work themselves out.
And remember, he's still 13 at this point. So, I mean, he's obviously matured at a very young age, but still, that's...
Right, he wants his
I don't know.
parents.
I feel like even being in your 20s is too young to be involved in your parents' marriage.
Right. Yeah, you should not be involved at any age.
Then June 1st through 7th, Lucky admits to Luke that he is finding it hard to be the man of the house and protect Laura and Lulu. Luke assures him that everything is okay and he should not blame Laura for keeping him away. With a bad storm rolling in, because we love these bad storms,
Yep.
Luke decides to check on things at the Spencer house. A noise wakes up Lucky and he thinks Scully's men are back. He ends up shooting at Luke, and Luke is okay after just hitting his head after the shot was fired. Laura blows up over guns in the house and tells Luke to leave. Luke apologizes to Lucky for putting too much pressure on him. Laura tells Luke that she does not feel safe with him anymore. Lucky begs his parents to figure things out. I know. Luke tells Bobby about Lucky almost shooting him, and Luke admits that he does not know what to do anymore. And then Lucy asks Mary May to sing at the nurses' ball, and she gets Luke, Lucky, and Justice to be her pips on a Motown number, a.k.a. the Midnight Train to Georgia.
Yep.
June 14th, Lucky gives Laura some lip about the chores that Luke would have done if he were living at home. Monica invites Lucky and Foster over to hang out with Emily. Edward and Lucky decide to give the puppy Raoul to Emily. June 20th, Lucky services Felicia's worm farm. What does a service call on a worm farm look like?
Maybe they need fresh dirt. They've chopped through the minerals of the first one.
Okay. All right. There we go. Then June 27th, Luke tells Laura about Stone having AIDS. Their talk quickly changes gears to them and Laura, to them and Laura, to him. Their talk quickly changes gears to them.
It goes from talk of Stone to them.
Yeah. So then June 27th, Luke tells Laura about Stone having AIDS. Their talk quickly changes gears to them. Laura wants Luke to tell Lucky that he can't spend time at Luke's club this summer. And then Luke just invites him on a camping trip instead. Instead of hanging out, let's just get away. July 13th, they returned from their camping trip. So they took 2 weeks. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Laura tells Luke about Sunny's little visit. I don't know what that means. I think it has something to do with the club, maybe.
Yes, Sonny was always trying to keep them together, so I'm sure he was talking to Laura, like, on Luke's behalf.
Yeah. Luke pleads his case again about being forced out of his own home. Lucky reminds him that there's nothing they can't handle if they work together. On the 21st, Lucky helps move Tony into the brownstone guest room. After Lucky learns that Stone has AIDS, he and Luke have a talk about safe sex. I couldn't find that clip by itself, and I just didn't look up that specific date. July 27th through August 2nd, Laura refuses to budge on her stance that Lucky should not be visiting Luke at his club. Things get heated between them, and Luke follows Laura to the bedroom. They end up making love. Later, she admits he just caught her off guard, and she agrees that Lucky can come see him at the club during the day only.
That makes sense.
Luke tells Lucky that he is making progress with Laura. Lucky asks Stone to help out on a project that he is working on. August 3rd through 9th, Lucky is still having trouble with Luke's absence. Here's the thing, though. This whole next part. Luke is, quote, absent, but was he asking, hey, can my dad help me with this project? Like, I don't feel like Laura would have not let Luke come over to help Lucky in the garage.
Right. She just wouldn't let him live there.
Right. Like, that's a totally different thing. So Lucky's still having trouble with Luke's absence. He and Laura come to blows. Stone gives Lucky some parts for his go-kart. And then Stone tells Robin that his vision is blurry as he is making a list of supplies. August 10th through 16th, Laura has a problem with Lucky's go-kart. She calls Luke, and he convinces her. I don't know what he convinced her of.
I don't know.
Stone helps Lucky build his go-kart. During the process, he cut himself, and you've talked about this a few times, where Laura patched him up and suggested he sees a doctor, but she's very kind about it because at the time, if you had a cut, especially if you had AIDS, there was a lot of, we didn't know.
Right.
So, she put on gloves, she bandaged him up, but there was so much fear around it. But Laura didn't approach it with fear. She approached it with, he's bleeding and needs patched up,
Right.
August 17th through 23rd, Emily gets another visit from Alan's Sydney bear, who reminds him that this transition is hard on Monica too. This is when her mom was passing away.
Yeah.
This year, the British Podcast Awards are heading to a brand new home, Indigo at the O2. Join more podcasters, creators and producers than ever before at the biggest night in British podcasting, taking place on Thursday, the 2nd of October, 2025. You can book your tickets via our website, britishpodcastawards.com. We look forward to seeing you there.
Or had passed away already, I think. Maybe. He suggests that she take a break. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what date Paige passed away, yeah.
Yeah. But it was during that time, and we talked all about this Sydney bear with Alan.
Yes, it was so cute.
It was. He suggests that she take a break and have some fun with Lucky. So Emily goes to check out Lucky's go-kart. Lucky takes the cart for a test drive and crashes. Emily goes to get help for Lucky, and Laura calls an ambulance and Luke. Tony is treating Lucky at GH. Luke and Laura agree not to blame each other. Tony tells Luke and Laura that Lucky has a hematoma that will require surgery. So this kid has only been in town just under 2 years and has already had 2 surgeries.
Yep.
An unconscious Lucky is out of surgery. When he wakes up, he apologizes to his parents for not wearing a helmet. Then August 31st through September 6th, Lucky has breakfast with Luke at Kelly's. Lucky wants to plan an overnight camping trip before school starts. Luke wants to invite Sunny. Lucky unloads on Laura about Luke's absence. Sunny heads off camping with Luke and Lucky. I can't see Sunny now going camping. During the camping trip, Luke pierces Lucky's ear. I have so many questions about that because did Jonathan Jackson want to get his ear pierced and had to have it okayed by...
Right.
Because, when you first get your ear pierced, you have to keep it in for a certain amount of time. So how did that... I know that that's something so ridiculously small.
No, but that's... If we ever get to talk to him, or when we get to talk to him, we'll put it out there in the atmosphere. When we get to talk to him, that will be one of the oddball questions that we ask.
Yes, because I don't know, you wouldn't notice if a girl suddenly had an earring, her ears pierced. But I don't know, especially back then, guys didn't get Well, they did, but it was such a big deal if the guys got their ears pierced.
Right.
So back at home, Laura and Mary May are talking about her marriage and Lucky's anger, and Mary May would like to speak with Lucky. September 7th through 13th, Lucky and Luke arrive back from camping. Lucky questions if he still wants to work things out with Laura. Laura is peeved about Lucky's earring, and then Emily and Lucky are hanging out. They were such good friends.
They were.
September 14th through 20th, Luke gets upset when Lucky is clearly using him against Laura with decisions about school. I am so glad to hear that Luke got annoyed about that when he realized, or upset about it. So then Mary May and Lucky have a chat about his parents. She gives him advice on not taking sides. Lucky and Laura come to a compromise about his classes. October 4th, Laura and Lucky make a deal about respecting each other's feelings, but he is still upset about Laura busting up the family. Emily goes to Lucky's and they talk about their family problems. October 5th through 11th, Lucky takes Emily to see Luke's club. Emily takes off when Bobby stops in. So this is when Alan and Bobby were being close friends. So she was definitely not happy about this because she had just lost her mom, was in the process of all that. So yeah, she was not happy with Bobby. Emily spills her guts to Lucky. Things are not working out at the Q's and she does not want to go back. Lucky thinks that she should talk to Alan. Lucky and Emily are hanging out at the Quartermaines with their dogs. Emily has second thoughts about talking with Alan. October 19th through 25th, fearing that Luke has given up on him and Laura, Lucky shows up late at the club to see Luke. Laura wants to know from Luke why Lucky left in the middle of the night to see him at the club.
And then October 26th through November 1st, Emily voices her concerns to Lucky that she does not belong with the Q's. Emily tells Lucky that she wants to try and find her mother's sister, Corey. Lucky wants to go with her. Lucky asks Mac about finding a missing person. He wants an hour of Mac's time. Mac gives him some tips about where to look for Corey. Lucky tells Emily he has his own reasons for wanting to go with Emily to Boston to find Corey. Lucky dubs Luke and gets his hands on Lucky dupes Luke and gets his hands on Luke's emergency credit card and cash. Lucky tells Emily that he is all set for their trip. They decide to leave tomorrow. Lucky tells Sly he is leaving town with Emily, but he can't tell him where they're going. Lucky and Emily get ready to hit the road. Lucky makes it a point to check in with Luke at the club, so he thinks that Lucky is going home to bed. He lies and tells Luke he will be staying late at school tomorrow. This only makes Luke suspicious. Emily makes a point of saying goodbye to the Q's, giving her and Lucky a head start. Emily and Lucky board the bus for Boston. November 2nd through 8th, Laura gets Lucky's reminder note about staying late after school. Laura suspects something is up. Luke calls Laura about Lucky's suspicious behavior. Laura invites him to dinner, thinking that Luke may be able to find out what is wrong. Monica gets Emily's note saying she went to school early. Laura finds Lucky's emergency backpack gone and calls Luke. Lucky and Emily arrive in Boston and talk their way into a room at a nice hotel. Luke calls Sly. The Spencers learn Lucky is on the run with Emily. Luke and Laura tell Monica that Lucky and Emily have run off together. Ned has a clue for Luke and Laura about where the kids are headed. Ned tells them about Lucky talking with Mac. Lucky and Emily strike out at the RMV but find info later on Corey at the registrar's office. Mac tells the Spencers and Monica that Lucky went to Boston. Luke and Laura decide to go to Boston themselves and not call the police yet. Edward gives them the use of the ELQ jet. Luke suspects Lucky agreed to help Emily as it would get him and Laura together. Luke and Laura leave for Boston. I mean, Lucky's not stupid. Come on.
Right.
Lucky and Emily learn that Corey never graduated and transferred to the University of Albuquerque. They get her new address. Luke and Laura suspect Lucky did the unexpected and checked into an expensive hotel in Boston. Monica blames herself for Emily taking off. Lucky books 2 tickets to New Mexico. Lucky leaves a clue for his parents. Luke and Laura arrive at the hotel and learn the kids have checked out. They get Lucky's clue. Luke thinks Lucky may have gone to Chicago and not Albuquerque, but Lucky outsmarts them. Emily and Lucky land in Albuquerque. Luke and Laura are hot on their trail. Luke phones Monica, telling her that Emily and Lucky went to Albuquerque. November 9th through the 15th, Luke finds out that Lucky and Emily got a forwarding address for Corey. Emily and Lucky check on the address they have for Corey in Albuquerque. The woman at the address tells her that Corey got into some trouble and is long gone. Lucky leaves another clue for Luke to send him in the wrong direction. Lucky learns that Corey went to medical school but never finished, and the school has no forwarding address. Luke and Laura plot their next move. They decide to spend the afternoon in Albuquerque and then head to Pasadena. Lucky and Emily camp out. Rain puts a damper on Emily and Lucky's camp out, and they are forced to find shelter in a cave. The cave entrance collapses, trapping Emily. Hope she made it out okay. Emily has an encounter with a snake. Lucky tries desperately to get Emily out of the cave and manages to rescue her. Luke and Laura come up with a big fat zero in Pasadena. They think Lucky's cash must be running out, but learn that he still has not used the credit card. Luke remembers that Lucky paid him a visit and must have stolen his emergency fund. Luke checks his own alias credit card and learns that Lucky has indeed used it. As Lucky is sure his parents are out looking for him, he and Emily double back and return to Port Charles to the Spencer's house. With the trail cold of her aunt, Emily is looking forward to returning to the Q's. That was quite the runaround. At that age, I could not have done anything. I know we've talked about Lucky has like extensive training and what to do, but I don't know that I could even get on a bus by myself at this age, let alone at 14. So...
Okay, I was thinking more the hotel. They were like, and the thing is, they look like babies. They're not the 15-year-olds that look. Okay, how old do you have to be to rent a hotel room now? Is it 21?
It's 21 for some hotels. Other hotels, it's 25.
What happened to 18? I was definitely renting hotels at 18.
I don't. You better clarify all kind of information with that.
Well, I traveled. I mean, I had moved out, so.
Right. I know, but the way you said that at first could be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
Sometimes by the hour. Okay, Shannon, calm down.
Not like that at all. At all.
Anyway, yeah, I think it's only like the cheaper motels that you can rent at 18.
That's just crazy. I mean, how can they go on college road trips and stuff like that?
I don't know. I've never understood that either. I remember when my ex and I were first together and we went to Disney World, we then wanted to rent a car and we were both only 22 and they were
That's insurance though. That's because of insurance. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember paying an outrageous amount of money because we were both under 25. So, but like, you can have your own car insurance. You can have your own car insurance. So why can't I get car insurance on a rental? It's just crazy. Back to Lucky and them. November 16th through the 22nd, Emily learns Alan is at GH. Lucky learns Emily went to GH. Luke and Laura return home. Foster blows Lucky's hiding place. Luke and Laura comfort Lucky about the wild goose chase he sent them on. Confront. I cannot read today. I'm sorry. Luke and Laura confront Lucky about the wild goose chase they sent him on. The Spencers have dinner together for Luke and Laura's anniversary. After dinner, Lucky pleads his case that his parents belong together. Laura tells Luke that she had her defining moment when they were together looking for Lucky. Laura agrees to let Luke come home. November 28th, Lucky brings a sick Emily her homework from school. And then November 20th.
Those days? Back when, first of all, you were allowed to have a sick day because they didn't send your homework home the first day. You had to be out like 2 or 3 days before they would even send your homework home.
Yep.
Because you know what you're supposed to do when you're sick?
Actually
rest.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Sorry.
And it wasn't all on the computer for you to just look up whenever you felt like it.
No. Not at all.
Right. Oh, I miss those days.
I know.
And then
not really, because then you would have homework in general. So I'm good with that. But I know what you mean. The more innocent time.
From the mom perspective, I miss that because anytime that Madeline is sick, she's instantly like, but I have to get my work done. Or depending on how she's dealing, it's the opposite when she doesn't want to do it at all. And it's like, come on, they've already posted it. You have to get it done.
Right.
So, November 29th to December 4th, after learning Stone has passed away, Luke and Lucky ponder what happens to you after death. And then December 27th, Sunny is awoken by Mike setting a ham steak on fire at the apartment. Luke and Lucky have a chat after he learns Lucky is hustling his friends in cards. Luke and Lucky help Sunny get Stone's ashes out of the penthouse that he's locked out of. AJ checks on Robin, who was putting on a brave, stoic face, and Sunny and Luke bring Stone's ashes to Robin. Why you gotta end on a sad note?
Well, that's where the year ended. I'm sorry.
Man.
I just think it's funny that, little 15-year-old Emily and Lucky are making their way on a bus to Boston, renting hotel rooms. Yeah, the bummer is we don't have Emily anymore.
I know.
But next week starts 1995. Yeah. So we're going to be getting into some pretty juicy stuff here pretty soon, I guess.
Woohoo!
It should be Nicholas next week, right? Wouldn't that have been? When did Nicholas come?
Yeah, it should be right around then because Lulu should be getting sick.
Yeah. Around the time that she was like 2-ish, right?
Right. I was going to say a year and a half. So yeah.
Oh, that would be closer to 1996 then. Because if she was just born in August of 94, she's only a couple months old.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I guess we'll see where next year takes us.
Liz coming to town because Liz hasn't come to town yet, right? Yeah, because he's just friends with Emily.
Yeah. So Liz should be here soon.
All right.
Yay!
Yay!
So join us on Monday, though, as we recap this week's shows that include more Lucky. Sorry.
That's all right. I just love the smile you get every time you say Lucky. Your little crush is so cute. Anyway,
gorgeous. Sorry.
He is.
It's not just that. He has the person, Jonathan Jackson, has a good soul.
You
can just
do
tell.
not have to justify it to me. I'm just saying every time that you say his name, you get a little smile. So,
all right.
Anyway, have a good weekend.
And we'll meet at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.
This year, the British Podcast Awards are heading to a brand new home, Indigo at the O2. Join more podcasters, creators, and producers than ever before at the biggest night in British podcasting, taking place on Thursday, the 2nd of October, 2025. You can book your tickets via our website, britishpodcastawards.com. We look forward to seeing you there.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.